Good morning. Now we'll continue with the derivatives of midgut. So how far we have reached in the previous session? Do you remember the previous session? We discussed the derivatives of foregut. And you know the development of esophagus, stomach, then duodenum up till the opening of common bile duct, plus the development of liver, extrahepatic biliary apparatus, and pancreas. Fine. So that much for gut derivatives we have discussed. So the next part for this session is the derivatives of midgut. So what are the derivatives of midgut? So it's very easy. The lower part of the duodenum, to be more precise, the part of the duodenum below the opening of the common bile duct, then jejunum, ileum, cecum appendix, ascending colon, and right two-third of transverse colon. That much region is derived from midgut. Okay. So look at that. You find the jejunum and ileum and duodenum. Of course, the duodenum below the second part, below the part of the opening of common bile duct, the second part. Half of the second part will be from the foregut. From that major duodenal papilla below, you find it is derived from the midgut, plus your jejunum and ileum, cecum appendix. Then you have got the ascending colon and right two-third of transverse colon. That much region is the part that is derived from midgut. So if it is derived from midgut, it should be supplied by the artery of midgut. What is the artery of midgut? It is superior mesenteric artery. What was the artery of foregut? Do you remember? It was celiac trunk. So here the artery of midgut is superior mesenteric artery. So what all structures that is developed from midgut will be supplied by branches of superior mesenteric artery. Fine. So look at that. This is how you get it. This is your midgut loop. So this midgut loop will be attached. So this base of the midgut loop will be attached to the posterior abdominal wall by the mesentery. And then you find the superior mesenteric artery will be supplying or will be passing through the mesentery to reach the apex. This will be the apex of your midgut loop. And in the apex, what you find, you already know that this midgut loop will be in communication with the yolk sac. Initially, this communication will be a very wide communication, but later what happens is this midgut communicating through into the yolk sac will be reduced into a small duct, very small duct, and that is what is termed as the vitello-intestinal duct. Okay, so this midgut loop will be attached or will be continuous with the yolk sac through a very small tube termed as the vitello-intestinal duct, which during the later stages of development will undergo fibrosis. Fine. So this is your midgut loop. So this is your superior mesenteric artery. Now what we do is we divide this midgut loop as prearterial, and this part is what is termed as postarterial. Fine. So this same midgut loop is now divided into this part termed as the prearterial, or otherwise termed as the cranial limb. So they are the same, prearterial limb or the cranial limb, and this is your postarterial limb or caudal limb. Fine. Now what happens is you find a small bud termed as the cecal bud, which develops in this post-arterial bud or post-arterial limb or caudal limb. So look at that name, it is cecal bud. So what will be the structures that is going to develop from that? It will be of course cecum and appendix. Fine. Okay. Now what happens? So read that the midgut loop is a U-shaped loop, and at apex will be attached to the yolk sac through a vitello-intestinal duct, and the artery of midgut is superior mesenteric artery. So superior mesenteric artery will divide the midgut loop into a pre-arterial and post-arterial segment. Now what happens? So now you should know what are the derivatives of pre-arterial segment. So this is your pre-arterial segment. What are the structures that could derive from it or that develop from it? So the rest of the part of the duodenum below the common bile duct. So the duodenum, then you find, so this is the duodenum that is going to develop from the pre-arterial segment, then the jejunum, and then the ileum. Now, one thing you have to remember, don't expect the whole of ileum to be developing from the pre-arterial segment. No. The terminal part of the ileum, this terminal part of the ileum that is very close to cecum appendix, that part will be derived from the post-arterial segment, that you should remember. Fine. So this pre-arterial segment, what are the things that is derived? You find the distal part of the duodenum, jejunum, and ileum, except the terminal part. The terminal part of the ileum will be derived from the post-arterial segment. Is that clear? Fine. Now what happens? Now you can name the structures that is derived from the post-arterial segment. You can be able to say what are they? They will be the terminal part of ileum. Then from the cecal bud you have got what developing? It is the cecum appendix. Then what all come? Then you find the ascending colon and the right 2/3 of transverse colon. So that is the junction. Till that region you have the structures that is developing from the post-arterial segment of midgut loop. You got it? Okay, so what are the structures that is derived from the post-arterial segment? It is the terminal part of the ileum, the cecum, the appendix, the ascending colon, and the right 2/3 of the transverse colon. So now you know the derivatives of pre-arterial and post-arterial segment. Now what happens? Now you should be familiar with a term that is what is termed as physiological umbilical hernia. So look at that word. It is physiological, not at all pathological, not at all abnormal. It is a normal happening, normal thing that you see in every fetus. So what is it? By 6th week, approximately 6th week of intrauterine life, you find the abdominal cavity of the fetus will be very small. And what happens is this midgut loop will be increasing in size, and then you have got the developing liver occupying a major part of the abdomen. So what happens is this midgut loop will not have space to accommodate within the abdomen. So what happens? This midgut loop will herniate or pass through the umbilical opening into the extraembryonic coelom within the umbilical cord. So that herniation of the midgut loop contents outside the abdomen of the fetus to the extraembryonic coelom within the umbilical cord is what is termed as physiological umbilical hernia. It is very normal, very much normal at 6th week of intrauterine life. So at 6th week, what happens? You find the herniation of the contents towards the exterior. Not exterior, just outside the abdomen, but well within the cord, in the extraembryonic coelom. Now what happens? So this is of course occurring in 6th week of intrauterine life. Then what happens is you find a rotation of midgut. Fine? You find a rotation of midgut, and thereby this herniated loop will return back to the abdominal cavity. Fine? And this occurs by the end of 3rd month of intrauterine life. Excuse me. So by approximately 3rd month or 10th week of intrauterine life, you find this herniated structures, herniated intestinal loop returning back to the abdomen. So when this returning is happening, there you find a rotation of the midgut loop is also happening. So, why do you find a rotation of the midgut loop is this rotation will help so as the structures or so as it will help the structures to occupy the corresponding position as seen in normal, as seen in a normal adult. Fine. So, for these structures to attain the correct position, that is the colon, the large intestine occupying the right side, the jejunum and ileum occupying the left side, for that arrangement, there should be a rotation of midgut. So, I have just mentioned it as rotation. Some more details of rotation you should be able to know. So, I'll elaborate something more about the rotation of midgut. So, look at that. What you see here, this is the superior mesenteric artery. This is the pre-arterial segment. This is the post-arterial segment, vitellointestinal duct, yolk sac. So, now what happens is you get the first rotation. First 90-degree anti-clockwise rotation. First 90-degree anti-clockwise rotation, and that rotation occurs when this midgut loop is outside, that is in the umbilicus, out in the extraembryonic coelom. That is the first rotation, 90-degree anti-clockwise. So, when imagine a loop, you can take a wire and imagine a loop. With the loop in the center, you imagine the superior mesenteric artery. Look at that, in the center, you can imagine the superior mesenteric artery. The pre-arterial is above, the post-arterial is below. Now, imagine a 90-degree anti-clockwise rotation. So, now what will happen as a result of that rotation? The pre-arterial segment will come to lie on the right side and post-arterial segment will come to lie on the left side. Fine. So that is the first rotation that you should be familiar with. Now what happens is